Now, here's a job that's nice and relaxing to do, but also gives you great experience of how your colours behave and a record of what they look like when they're dry on the paper. So first job is to write all their names down on a piece of paper. You can do it like I'm doing it here, if you've got your paint kept in a box, and have the names laid out in the same order as they appear in the box, which is a really handy way to be able to refer to what the colours are called and what they look like, of course. So I've got some clean water ready. I'm just adding it to some of the colours which have dried out rather more than others. And I'm putting a few drops of water into my porcelain palette. This brush I'm using is a Pro Art Acrylics brush. I do find acrylic brushes that are made for painting with acrylic paint, are very useful for watercolours too. So for each colour I'm just making a very weak mixture of the colour. I'm painting that on first and then adding stronger colour into the weak paint while it's still wet. It's up to you how you decide to do it. You might want to paint the strong colour on and then wet your brush and pull the colour out with some water. Here goes some stronger colour, and you can see how it bleeds into that wet colour. So this is quite useful experience, and I find that all the different colours, the pigments behave in slightly different ways when you paint them onto either wet paper or onto wet colour. Cleaning and drying the brush in between, and then I'm wiping out that paint. So I start with a clean area and clean water each time. Ideally, it's a good idea to have a separate jar of water for washing your brush and one for adding the water to the palette, so that you get completely uncontaminated colours. Your reference chart. I'm squeezing some paint into that pan out of a tube. I don't mind whether I buy pre-filled pans or fill pans myself. It's convenient to have paint in pans, but when it's squeezed out of the tube you can see it's really quite juicy, and if you tip the box up it can dribble out and spill into the other colours. So you have to be careful that you always keep your box level if you've got the paint squeezed out of tubes in it. Usually after a painting session I just leave the lid open so that everything dries out a little bit, and then I can put the lid down and carry it with me without too much worry about the colour all slopping around. That gamboge is gorgeous. It's like egg yolk almost. Very, very strong, beautiful, rich yellow. Interestingly, some colours across different makes may have the same name, but don't always look like the same colour. There is some variety between the manufacturers. And there's some really, really good resources on YouTube. Well worth having a bit of a browse. There's one YouTuber who has tested all sorts of different makes of colours. I'll find her videos and put a link in the text below this video. That azo yellow, that's like a lemon yellow. And you can see I'm having to work at the colour quite a lot more than I did with the other, the red and the gamboge, the cadmium red light and the gamboge. Having to pester away at the azo yellow a little bit more to get more out of the pan. And this is all part of the value of this experience is you learn how much of each colour you need to get certain strengths of wash. And because you're painting over the names, you can also see which colours are slightly opaque, because it covers over the name slightly. You should still be able to read the names of all the colours, but some of them, like you might be able to see the cerulean blue there. You can see how it obliterates the ink of the writing a little bit, whereas next to it, the phthalocyanine blue is much more translucent, and you can easily see that name. This is the last one, the dioxazine purple, dioxazine violet, and all finished.